Hello, it is I, the coach, or as you guys will find out by the end of the video, some may know me as the dumbass. But essentially, today's video is going to be a bit different, not really league related. It's going to be a personal story, and it's about the hardest course I've ever taken in my entire life, and that's coming from a third-year university student. The hardest course of which is grade 9 French. Now, why do I feel the need to tell this story? Well, my name is the coach. I coach at proguides.com/coach/the coach, and oftentimes I get asked whether or not I speak or know French, and my answer is always no. I do not. I do not know any French whatsoever, which is really weird because I was born in Canada. I was raised in Ontario my entire life, and the Ontario curriculum mandates that all students like fourth grade and above should learn French. I had friends that went to a French immersion school where like half the day would be French. So it's really weird for me to not know any French at all, especially when Le Coach can be translated to the coach. But it's not about the origins of the name Le Coach. There is an origin story, but that is for another time. So why was grade 9 French the hardest course I've ever taken? Well, first let's start off with third grade. Third grade, I was in like a split 3-4 class, and watching all the fourth graders with the big kids take French, it was so cool. Like they were flexing. Like I could understand why it was the language of love. They were like, bonjour, est-ce que je peux aller aux toilettes? I was like, oh, dude, these guys are so cool. And then I hit, fourth grade, and I'm learning French, and I was getting pretty confident. I was like, dude, this could just be one of my subjects that I'm super super good at, alongside like gym, lunch, recess, getting detention for throwing rocks at like stop signs or something like that. Um, and we're just like learning the alphabet. That's generally a good starting point. Learning the alphabet. I don't even think we learned how to count. I think we learned how to count to like 10, but that in addition to like the alphabet, that's what we learned. But then I moved schools. I was in a Toronto school up until like halfway through fourth grade, and then I moved. I moved to a York Region school, and these guys are built different. Like I moved schools, and they were already on sentences. Especially when moving like halfway through the year, the curriculum is really different. And like a week later, there was like a test, a French test, and the teacher, by the way, was speaking like in French sentences. I couldn't understand a goddamn word she was saying. I was like, oh, I'm fucked. I do the test. It's about the Three Little Pigs, and I've read so many renditions of like Three Little Pigs. I don't even know what's the real story, but there's like this part where the three little pigs are jumping on the wolf. I couldn't understand the question. I couldn't read it. So I'm just throwing in together words. I got a solid D minus, and that was the first ever D I've ever gotten. Like I'm not like a stellar student. I'm not like an A plus only. I'm more like a B plus student, but I'd never get like a D, especially a D minus. Um, so yeah, it kind of just like killed my confidence really, and from then there on, I was never really the biggest fan of French. I kind of just fell behind. I couldn't really catch up. Like fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh, uh, just mediocre. Like some B pluses, some C's, but all I knew is I did not learn any French whatsoever. And then come like the eighth grade, I would submit pretty much whatever, and it would always come out to like a 60 on my report card, 60 in oral communication, reading, and writing, 60 flat, which means I got lower than 60. That was like the lowest that they could give me. And I'm pretty sure Ontario schools, like as far as elementary schools or middle school, whatever, cannot fail you. So I couldn't be held back for like failing French. So I've never really put in an honest effort. And I'm pretty sure that like those 60s were, I got like lower than that. So come ninth grade. In ninth grade, you are, well, required to take French in order to graduate. And most people would take like applied French, which is like, I don't want to describe it as like not so skilled, but there would be like academic and then gifted. And I was in academic French, which would be like pretty normal. And this was the hardest course ever. Mind you, I had gotten 60s in grade 8 French, and it was probably just rounded up. They probably just gave it to me. And I knew I was struggling because at one point, I gotta call home. My French teacher had to tell my dad. He had to call home and tell him, yo, your kid has a 52.7. Like he needs to get his grades up. And my dad was like, he was pissed. Oh god, I'm failing French. I was like, oh, actually on the verge of failing French. So I had to put my mind to it. I had to, stop playing League. I was like, okay, I'm gonna grind out this French. And then I realized that I had 5 years to catch up on. Like I was royally fucked. I had to like get carried into group assignments, the final exam. Oh my god, the test. The education system is so bad. There's like this trolley, like this cart. They put like the laptop, and then they just put like the worst audio quality voice ever, and you have to listen to that shit. And you have to put the speakers on max, and when it was on max, the cart would just fucking vibrate. I could only hear the vibration. I was like, oh my god. Like I'm not one of those people who would cry during a test. I would just sigh of like depression and like whatnot. I just admit defeat. But man, there was ever a time I came close to crying during a test. It was I closed my eyes just to be able to, enhance my hearing, even the slightest of bits, just to write down. And I was writing down words that I knew the meaning of individually. It was so hard. I think there's a lot of it just like passé composé, which means like past tense, and like conjugations. All of them are so confusing. Like French is, I'm sorry, but French is a stupid language. I mean, it's a language of love, I guess, but like, what makes a table feminine, but like a desk masculine? Why do inanimate objects have genders? That, anyways, I'm acting as if English is any less stupid, but yeah, it was a grind. And then at the end, after all that grind, I managed to finish the term. I finished the semester with a 61. That was the best grade I've ever gotten in French. A 61. I had to work for that. And everybody else would just get like 80s, 90s. And I was here in grade 9 French. I was like, oh my god, I'm going to be a high school dropout at this. And the funniest thing is I actually contemplated going into grade 10 French because I didn't know what elective to choose. I'm just, oh man. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is my story on the hardest course I've ever taken. And it was a course I had to take in the first year of high school when I was like 13, 14. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my story. Definitely more League content coming out soon. And just look forward to that. Thank you. Thank you. See you guys next time.